words can reach. Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be bringing you a book review on 5 Feet Apart by Rachael Lippincott. So I just want to say as a quick disclaimer that I did receive this book from the publicist, aka the publisher, in exchange for an honest review, but it does not affect my opinion of the book whatsoever. So this book was gifted to me free of charge, so I just want to say that from the beginning. So I was very excited when I received an email saying, would you be interested in giving this book a read and review? I was like, oh my goodness, because it was honestly the next book in line for me to pick up and purchase. And when I was offered the opportunity, of course I had to jump at the chance because I have a massive urge to read this book. I saw the trailer to the movie before I actually read this, and then when I was unwell with pneumonia and my nans, it was one of the books that I put on my contemporary TBR, and I just kept on looking at the book and I was like, I am going to read this next. And so I dived into it and I absolutely love this book so much. So I just want to say that the first half of this video is going to contain the non-spoilers for those of you that haven't read this book, and then the second half is going to contain some spoilers about this book of what books that I really enjoyed. So I'll let you know when that's going to be so that you don't get spoiled on it, and so you can come back to the video when you've read this book and we can share our thoughts about it. So first of all, I'm going to start by telling you what this book is about. So we have two main characters. We have Stella and we have Will, and both of them have cystic fibrosis. So they're at this hospital with this treatment, but Will has an additional to having CF, so he's on a special treatment plan for it. However, when he enters this hospital, he sort of thinks of it as another place that his mum has just sent him to, so he's just like, oh, whatever, it's just another place. So that's the sort of attitude that he has. Stella's very OCD with her medication. She's had it for, quite a while, and so she's been dealing with her medication side to it. So when she meets Will, she is like, I am going to make sure that we take our medication together so that I know that you are doing this program with me. And so they just embark upon this sort of series where they just meet. They can't be less than 6 feet apart, because if they get close then it can be very contagious, and they could possibly end up getting very ill, more ill than they are, and a possibility of dying pretty much. So it's very serious because of all of the bacteria and everything. So they have to meet up but sort of be across the room from each other. So it's very cute, and they sort of develop this friendship, and obviously Will is this sort of like charming, quirky character. Stella is this very sort of like goody girl. She just wants to get everything done, and so he sort of met her at the right time really, because she's just sort of helps him. So they've both got their dark secrets and their issues, like with their families and everything to go with it. We've got Stella, who's got something to do with her sister, and then we've got Will, who's got something to do with his mum and the whole situation. So you find that out later on in the book, and I'll talk more about that later in the video for the spoilery section. So yeah, it's just literally about these two, how they are trying to survive, how they're trying to have this treatment for the cystic fibrosis, and this friendship and relationship that they develop with each other. We can tell it's going to be a romance because we can see from the trailer of the movie. That is not a spoiler, and obviously it's a romance soon because it does also say, can you love somebody that you can never touch? So totally worth it. So I really liked the characters in this book. I liked Stella as a character, and Will, and I loved Poe, Stella's best friend, who also has cystic fibrosis, who's pretty much her neighbour in this hospital, in this ward. And it's really cute, and it's literally just so inspirational, and just how it teaches you about cystic fibrosis and how it just makes you want to value your lungs a lot more. And it's a really good story, so I totally enjoyed the storyline of this book. So this book is structured into alternate perspectives. So we have Stella telling her side of the story, and then we have chapters from Will as well, so it go from like Stella, Will, Stella, Will, Stella, Will, that sort of thing, so we get to see what it's like from each of their sides. If I had to have a favourite part of this book, it would definitely have to be the sections where they're actually like doing things for each other. I think that's really good, just how they're sort of like helping each other through the process of cystic fibrosis. I really enjoyed the ending to this book. It's sort of a very open ending in a way, because it sort of ends in a position where you can just try and imagine what's going to happen next to the characters, and it's just, yeah, I think it's like a really sweet, and it definitely sort of makes you smile because they're getting that freedom, and it's a very cute ending. There were moments of this book that really got me smiling. There were also moments that totally broke me into pieces. There were various moments, I lost count of how many, where I would actually be holding my hand over my lungs, because I was currently at the time going through pneumonia, so my lungs were pretty bad at the time, so I was forever feeling this sort of pressure on my own lungs, where I was just like, oh my goodness, like I made myself sort of feel like, oh well, I've got pneumonia, but damn, it's not as bad as this sort of thing. So there were lots of moments where it did make you value your lungs. You also learn a lot about cystic fibrosis and a lot about like other sort of illnesses in the hospital, and it really does make you value your life and your family and everything around you. So of course I totally recommend for people to buy this book. I'm really looking forward to watching the movie of this with the lovely, one of the Sprouse brothers from Riverdale. Just, he is definitely one of my actor crushes, like by far. Just one of the main reasons I watch Riverdale is because of him, to be honest. Like, I've got a big old crush on him, but he's taken. He is taken. So I do recommend this book. It's really cute. If you really want a contemporary that's based on cystic fibrosis, where it just is very inspirational, it teaches you about it. It's not just a romance story, it's also about family and friendship, big on friendship as well, and survival and freedom, then I definitely recommend for you to read this. If you've seen the trailer to this movie and you're like, oh, it looks really good, definitely recommend reading the book. It's very close, actually. When I watched the trailer, it's very close. Like, it's almost like they've pretty much paid this out of the book, so it looks really good. So I'm very excited for it. So this is the end of the non-spoilery section. If you guys haven't read this book, I will say goodbye to you guys now. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and please do return when you have read this book. So the only couple of spoilery things that I would just like to mention is just how emotional it was when Poe died. Like, of all the things, like, you would think when reading this book that it wasn't going to be Poe, but that was so sad how it was just the birthday, and then he was cooking the food, and then he had this like physical chest attack, and then it's just the fact that he's passed away, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was reading it and I was just like, couldn't possibly be Poe, because Poe was just this, he was amazing best friend of Stella's, and like, he had pretty much started to gain like the freedom of his life. You know, he was getting his gay boyfriend to come back into his life again. He wasn't going to push him away, and then there was just that upset with this gay boyfriend because he saw him pass away. And then there's Stella, and just there was scenes when Poe and Stella really wanted to like hug each other, and they couldn't because of the whole being apart. Like, they couldn't touch each other, the no touch thing, and I got so emotional because I was just like, there were moments where they were literally just like, oh, we can't, like, they really want to hug each other, and I was just like, oh my goodness, that's so emotional, that's so sad. So I really felt for that, and I literally choked up like when Poe passed away. That was so sad because it was an amazing birthday, and then for it to end like that, it's just sort of like a really crushing thing to happen. So like, Stella, when we find out about her sister Abby passing away, like before, I couldn't believe it. Like, when I found that out, when Will had found that out, it was like, it was your sister, and she was like, yeah, she passed away before me, it should have been me before her, sort of thing. I thought that was really sad as well, like that she'd lost her sister, and that must be a really tough situation, like when you get somebody who was just like full of life and you're the one that's sort of like got a disease or an infection or an issue like that, and they go before you. It's almost like the situations when you get like parents' kids pass away before them. It's just sort of like, but it should be me, not them. And that was like a really horrible thing to sort of like find out, and really sad. So we really start to understand Stella a lot more there. And then with Will learning about like why he doesn't have a father, and that his mum does all these things for him and she's always there, that it's not just that she's just trying program after program, is that she wants him to survive, like she can't live without him, and that sort of thing. And that's just really cute. And the moment when he actually realizes that as well, and just sort of like that ending, just when Will and Stella just both want to get out of the ward and just try and survive and get some freedom and some fresh air and just try and live for once. And I really enjoyed how it ended, just how they just meet at this airport again, and I'm just so glad that they both survived. Like I think I just would have been so annoyed that they didn't, but it just goes to show that there is hope in this world. We don't know how long these characters are going to survive for. That's why I said earlier, like it has that sort of open ending to it, and I think that's really sweet that we get to try and imagine how they're going to survive and where they're going to go forwards from there. So yeah, all in all guys, really enjoyed this book, and I'm so glad that I managed to discuss my feelings. I love discussing my feelings on the spoiler bits I can never ever talk on, and I'm really enjoying that I'm able to have a freedom of speech with this now by having 2 sections of reviews. I think that's going to be a lot better for people to watch the non-spoiler part and then watch the spoiler part. I am sorry if you're going to hear my washing machine. I always seem to, for some reason, put my washing on when I'm about to film videos, but I had like 4 days worth of clothes, maybe 5 days of like one load. I always try and wait for one load so it's like less electricity. So as a side note, I'm sorry the door is closed, but it's going to get a little bit loud. I do apologise, but we're nearing the end of this video now. I've said everything I needed to say about this book. Definitely recommend it. I gave it 5 out of 5 Kit Kats. Please go and purchase. Please give the movie a watch when it is released. It literally comes out this very month. I'm very excited, and I'm hopefully going to be doing a movie review on it, and maybe doing like spoiler on the movie review. So let me know if you'd be interested in that, and let me know down below in the comments. If you guys have read this, let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it, and if you want to talk spoilers, then message me and say, Katie, there's some of this book that I really want to talk about, or like put star spoiler. So please guys, if you haven't read this book, then just be careful in the comments. That's all I'm going to say. Or we can direct message each other either way. Like I'll try and find a way that we can like message and talk about the book. Follow me on Twitter or something and direct message me something. I just would hate for people to be really spoiled. But that's it from me guys. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And like I say, any comments, any thoughts about the book, leave them down below. But that's it from me guys. All of my social media links will be linked down below in the description if you'd like to follow me elsewhere. Keep smiling, keep reading and be happy. My name is Katie, and I will see all of you wonderful awesome people in my next video. Bye!